At the time of filming this video, I keep about 50 or 60 different species of tarantula. Now, I know that spiders and tarantulas in particular are not everyone's cup of tea, but bear with me, they're incredible creatures and make wonderful pets. This video is a look at my favorite tarantulas. Now, this isn't a ranking video or a list of 1, 2, 3, 4 or anything like that. I love keeping all the species that I currently have. This is more of a look at particular tarantulas that hold a special place in my heart. I'm Jay. This is Jay's Cryptic Creatures. Let's come learn something together. Ever since I was a child, I've been always interested in spiders and scorpions and other non-mainstream pets. I remember me and my sister catching spiders in 2-liter soda bottles and sticking branches and leaves in there and trying to catch flies and feed them. Fast forward 30 years or so, and at one point I got into a YouTube rabbit hole researching and learning about tarantulas. I affectionately blame Tom's Big Spiders for this. He does a great job from the education standpoint, and it really resonated with me. I was astonished at all the different types and colors and sizes that the tarantula genus had to offer. Well, this research and tarantula content binging didn't go unnoticed. My wife, one Father's Day, reached out to a local tarantula breeder and got me my first tarantula. Um, that you can say really opened the floodgates and kind of brings me to where we are today. So let's take a look at one of the first special tarantulas that holds a place in my heart. The Pterodactyl abapolosis is a New World terrestrial tarantula. I currently keep her in my tarantula room at ambient temperatures ranging in between 68 degrees Fahrenheit up to 75 to 80 during the summer. I give a good amount of substrate, 6 inches or so. When she was a sling, she did some digging and burrowing, not so much as an adult. I do keep a corner moist, but I never really saw, as she approached subadulthood, any preference to moist or not moist. This was the very first tarantula that I owned. This is the same one that my wife picked up for me from a local breeder. Funny story, when she arrived to pick up the tarantula, she was handed a really small dram vial, and my wife was incredibly confused, expecting to see this big, standard looking tarantula, and asked, "What's this?" And the breeder had to share, "Hey, this is a baby tarantula. They're quite small, but they will eventually turn into full-size tarantulas." So I've had her for, man, a number of years. I really enjoyed watching her grow with each molt. And as you can see here, she is quite the fluff ball. Always calm, never kicking hairs, pretty laid back, never seen a defensive posture. Just holds a special place in my heart as she was the first tarantula. The Chromatopelma cyaneopubescens, or the GBB, green bottle blue, is a New World terrestrial plus semi-arboreal tarantula that grows 6+ inches and is a little bit more unique than most of the other tarantulas in that this species is to be kept incredibly dry even as a sling, which is pretty unique in the tarantula space. Why this species and this specimen in particular holds a special place in my heart is this was the second tarantula that I owned. And truth be told, I got this one not too long after I got the Tiado. What makes this kind of unique to own, I think everybody should own, is it is a New World tarantula that sports really amazing colors, the blues and the greens and the orange abdomen. I wasn't quite ready to move directly into old worlds, so when I was doing my research and found this tarantula, I decided this would be a a great compromise to get those colors, and instead of having the quote unquote, big brown tarantula. On top of the striking colors, this species are tremendous webbers. So it was a completely different dynamic from the T. albo. And additionally, uh, this species not only has the stunning adult colors, as juveniles and slings, they hold really cool patterns, and you get to see the spider mature and the pattern change and the color change molt after molt after molt. So that was really great to experience, and I can definitely say I will always have a GBB in my collection. The Brachypelma Hamori is a New World terrestrial who likes it a bit more on the drier side rather than moist. An incredibly slow growing species, but are beautiful black, orange with tints of white. The B. Hamorii is special to me because this was the third tarantula I got. The T. albo and the GBB were both slings, and I fell into the stereotype because both of them ended up going into pre-molt at about the same time. So I wanted a kind of more big spider to look at. So I had the opportunity to pick up a sexed female from a local breeder here in Massachusetts. And, this is the quintessential spider or tarantula, in my opinion. Great attitude, no threat postures, some will say a pet rock, but that was really what I needed at that time. I had the two slings, and then I had this B. Hamorii where I was able to really get accustomed to handling um, and dealing with tarantulas, um, and allowing me to grow with them. So this spider holds a special place in my heart because it was the first, we'll say, large or big spider in my collection. The Ladorparhibana is a New World terrestrial that can get impressive sizes, typically 8+ inches or so. I keep this in my reptile room. Again, standard temperatures, somewhere between, high 60s to mid 70s. And this species doesn't seem to need the amount of moisture that some of the other large New Worlds do. So why is this species one of my favorites? Well, strictly speaking, it was a size. So as I started to expand my keeping, I really wanted to get the huge tarantulas. The thing that will be the showstopper or really get people talking. So before moving into the Theraphosa genus, I really wanted to cut my teeth with the Lazador, hearing and learning that this species is less moisture dependent. So this was, in my opinion, a good entry point into getting into advanced keeping. This girl has been fantastic. I've loved growing with her. She's huge, a great impressive size, great temperament, and a really good overall tarantula. The other really cool thing about the Ladorparhibana is quite often these are, quote unquote giveaway tarantulas, often used as a freebie, or if not, you can get them shockingly cheap because of the amount of captive breeding that's going on, along with the huge egg sacs that they lay. Parahybana, definitely one to keep in the collection. The Theraphosa apophysis or apophysis is a New World true Goliath bird eater. So this species gets regularly over 9 inches, very commonly over 10 inches, and some reports of that mythical 12-inch mark. Um, this is a New World terrestrial that does have fossorial tendencies, especially when young, and is very much moisture dependent. So a little bit harder to keep than some of the other ones we've talked about thus far. So why is this species special to me? And it's straight up the size. I really, really wanted a proper bird eater. Again, a lot of these species, I jumping into the tarantula hobby, you just wanted to get kind of the biggest spiders that's out there. And the Theraphos genus has 3 of them. The hypothesis was kind of newer to the hobby when I got into it. So I stayed away from the Sturmy or the Blondie, and I went after this one, which was really, really cool. I don't have a ton of video. I'll play some here of the most recent feeding, but mine matured out in male, and I've held on to him for quite a bit of time. However, thankfully, I was able to find somebody that could take him and has an active breeding project. So fingers crossed for him and the breeding project that will continue to have these species in the hobby. Super awesome to keep. I'll be looking for another one in the coming months, but for right now, I'm just going to have that spot on the shelf empty in memory of that guy. And we got an honorable mention in the Acanthoscuria geniculata. Is a New World terrestrial that again gets quite large, typically in that 8-inch range or larger. Again, terrestrial, middle of the run for care. Some people report having a little bit more high strung. Mine has been pretty laid back thus far. However, an absolute fantastic feeding response that can get you a little startled if you're not prepared for it. Now, at the time of filming this video, my girl just recently molted. She's a young sub-adult at the moment, so I'm not trying to disturb her too much. But the colors, the black and the white contrast are fantastic in the species. Again, great temperament, pretty on point feeding response, so that can catch you off guard a little bit. But thus far, I've had no trouble caring for this species. Again, what I really like about this one, and is special to me, is again that contrast of color, and one of the first 10 or so tarantulas that I've gotten. So like I said earlier in the video, this is by no means a best of or a rankings list of the best tarantulas. This is just special tarantulas that I currently keep, and again, hold that place in my heart that's unique to me. Everybody's going to have their own, favorite or favorites. Let's talk about it in the comment section. It'll be interesting to hear which ones you keep and which ones that you find unique or have, quirky traits. Frankly, I like them all, like I said before, and even retrospectively, now I'm thinking about it, I never even included any arboreal New Worlds in this video. So I'm going to have to go back and make a New World arboreal video, because, there's tons of New World tarantulas that deserve just as much love as the ones we just mentioned here. So with that being said, I'm Jay. This has been Jay's Cryptic Creatures. Please like, subscribe, and let's continue to learn about these things together.